the U.S. and South Korea. The annual exercises, which began on March 1st and will continue through April, include more than 300,000 South Korean soldiers and 17,000 U.S. troops, including members of SEAL Team 6. In Hong Kong, police have launched a crackdown on pro-democracy activists only one day after Beijing's preferred candidate was chosen to be the next leader of Hong Kong. At least 9 activists have been informed they are now facing charges for participation in pro-democracy street protests over 2 years ago. This is Professor Chan Kin-man, one of the founders of Hong Kong's Occupy Central protests, who is now facing charges.
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's deliberate. I believe that they understood that it might invite backlash from the communities and affect the election campaign, and so that's why they wait until this morning. But I think they have sent a very bad signal to the community. When Carrie Lam said that she is going to mend the figures in the society, to bridge the divide, and now they are charging us, and I think it will further divide the society.
In Peru, the death toll from the country's worst flooding in more than 30 years is rising. At least 90 people have now died. The flooding caused by torrential downpours linked to climate change has also destroyed tens of thousands of houses and displaced more than 100,000 people. The floods have also destroyed thousands of roads, bridges, and highways across Peru, paralyzing commerce and making it harder to transport aid to affected regions. In French Guiana, dozens of unions launched a general strike Monday to protest unemployment, the cost of living, and the lack of public services in France's territory in South America. The general strike was the latest in a series of protests that have rocked the territory in recent weeks. On Monday, the French Prime Minister said he sent a delegation to French Guiana later in the week. The state of Michigan has reached a deal with the city of Flint, with the state agreeing to pay nearly $100 million to replace water lines to thousands of homes whose water has been poisoned by lead. Flint's water crisis began in 2014 after the unelected state-appointed emergency manager for the city of Flint changed the source of the drinking water to the Flint River in order to try to save money. The river water corroded Flint's pipes, causing toxic lead to leach into the city's drinking water. Officials say Flint's water is still unsafe to drink without a filter, and many residents remain wary of drinking the water at all. On Monday, a white Army veteran who traveled from Baltimore to New York City to kill black men was indicted by a grand jury on the charge of murder as terrorism. Police say 28-year-old James Harris Jackson confessed to repeatedly plunging a sword into 66-year-old Timothy Kaufman, killing him. Police say Jackson was part of a white supremacist hate group in Baltimore. On Monday, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer refused to answer questions about the case and refused to call it a hate crime. In Colorado, about 1,000 people congregated at a mosque at Fort Collins Sunday to show support after the mosque was vandalized earlier that morning. Police say they've arrested the man suspected of throwing rocks through the mosque's doors and then tossing a Bible inside. An anti-apartheid activist, Ahmed Kathrada, has died at the age of 87. Kathrada, better known as Kathy, was a member of the African National Congress. In 1963, he was arrested with other ANC leaders and went on to spend 26 years in prison, 18 of them on Robben Island. He later served as President Mandela's parliamentary advisor. This is Ahmed Kathrada speaking in Visby, Sweden in 2014.
Was historically a struggle for a non-racial, non-sexist South Africa, which is what many people to progress, and it is for many, many colleagues lives, and we're not alive to see the birth of democracy in our country.
That was Ahmed Kathrada speaking in 2014. He's died in Johannesburg at the age of 87. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Wanda Knowles. Welcome to all our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world. The Trump administration has unveiled its latest attempt to target sanctuary cities that are refusing to help federal agents detain and deport undocumented immigrants. On Monday, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions said the Justice Department would withhold billions of dollars in grants to law enforcement agencies in sanctuary cities.
The Department of Justice has a duty to enforce our nation's laws, including our immigration laws. Those laws require us to promptly remove aliens when they are convicted or detained for certain crimes. The vast majority of American people support this common sense requirement. According to one recent poll, 80% of Americans believe that cities that arrest illegal immigrants for crimes should be required to turn them over to immigration authorities. Unfortunately, some states and cities have adopted policies designed to frustrate this enforcement of immigration laws. This includes refusing to detain known felons on federal detainer requests or otherwise failing to comply with these laws. For example, the Department of Homeland Security recently issued a report showing that in a single week, there were more than 200 instances of jurisdictions refusing to detainer requests with respect to individuals charged or convicted of a serious crime. The charges and convictions against these aliens include drug trafficking, hit and run, rape, sex offenses against a child, and even murder.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions went on to explain that cities applying for grants will have to certify they are not providing sanctuary to undocumented immigrants.
Today, I urge local jurisdictions to comply with these federal laws, including 8 U.S.C. Section 1373. Moreover, the Department of Justice will require jurisdictions seeking or applying for Department of Justice grants to certify compliance with 1373 as a condition of receiving those awards.
In response to Attorney General Jeff Sessions, New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, Boston Mayor Martin Walsh, and others vowed to defy the order and remain sanctuary cities. Meanwhile, lawmakers from a number of sanctuary cities are gathering here in New York for a conference organized by the Center for Popular Democracy. We're joined right now by 3 people who are speaking at the conference. Helen Ginn is with us, longtime community activist who was recently elected to the Philadelphia City Council. Gregorio Casar is an Austin City Council member. When he first won election in 2014, he was the youngest council member in Austin's history. He's the son of Mexican immigrants. Also with us from New Haven is Michael Wishnig, clinical professor of law at Yale Law School, co-director of the school's Worker and Immigrant Rights Advocacy Clinic. We welcome you all to Democracy Now! Helen, let's begin with you. Philadelphia City Council member Helen Ginn, your response to, well, we heard this yesterday at the session that you were involved with, where people came from around the country to talk about sanctuary, that Attorney General Jeff Sessions had just announced he would be going after cities that do what your city does.
Yeah. Well, so what I'd say is that there's no surprise that 48 hours or 72 hours after the president suffers one of the most humiliating defeats in Congress ever, that they go back to their tried and true distractions, which is to scapegoat immigrants. And it's a tried and true practice. The American people have to reject it. They have rejected it. A week after the Women's March, for example, we got Muslim ban 1. This is a nonstop attack on scapegoating immigrants in a divisive time for the administration to score political points. And what we're doing here in New York City is bringing together a broad cross-section of municipalities and localities that are going to look at these threats, not with empty rhetoric, but with a real partnership and a network that's going to rely on some smart legal strategy. It's going to ask some serious questions. We're probably going to go into litigation over a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of questions about whether anything has actually changed or whether there's simply